possible. But just to welcome everybody, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Obviously, we've got a really exciting hour ahead of us. Excuse me, we're going to really try and keep on track and on time as much as we possibly can. So I'm going to speak less. I'm going to let my speakers speak more. And, you know, just kind of really try and keep things flowing as best as possible. My name's Imtiaz Jamil. I'm founder of Young Leaders Academy. Excuse me. Founder of Young Leaders Academy. We're essentially provide training for student leaders and for teachers as well. We've got two wonderful speakers with us. We've got Emma Perkins from the UK, who's a deputy head at St. Barnabas, and an incredible character that I've known for 10 years, energetic, passionate, and I think what's really sets Emma apart for me is just this amazing can-do attitude to everything that's thrown at her, whether it's COVID or any other challenge. Just an incredible attitude towards it. So it's an absolute honor for me to work with Emma and her school. Then we've also got Musab Al Hassoun, who is principal of the boys section at Al Ittihad School, which is a private school in Dubai. Again, you know, I've had such a fruitful conversation with Musab over the past couple of days about, you know, the incredible work that he does, the children and the families and the community that he serves. And again, you know, just from that brief conversation, although it was only supposed to last half an hour, we went on for about an hour and 40, and we could have gone on for another couple of hours really, but just so interesting to learn about, you know, how the challenges that he has in his school. And, you know, again, I'm not going to steal anybody's thunder. I'm going to let those guys introduce themselves. So I think without further ado, if I can hand across to Emma, I'm going to try, can I pin Emma? And then if I can get you to, so just to let you know, guys, the format is going to be that we'll do a 7-minute presentation each, Emma, then Musab, then myself, and we're going to try and keep on topic of how to improve school health and well-being using your secret weapon, student leaders. So that is our topic for the morning. And we're going to try and keep on topic as much as we possibly can, because obviously health and well-being is a huge topic, you know, but we are going to try and hone in what it means to us as educators in our particular organizations or schools, and how we're kind of implementing that and making it work for our students and our demographic. So I'm sure we're going to learn tons and tons and get some really interesting ideas as well off other people. So without further ado, let me hand over to Emma. Are you ready to go, Emma?
Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. So, and just to make sure that it's in the right mode. So, can everyone see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. So very brief introduction, as I say, of myself. So as Imtiaz has already said, a deputy head teacher in a 1-4 elementary school in the northwest of England. We have children who come from nursery all the way through to year 6. So we also have provision for 2-year-olds in our school. We are in a very deprived area in the northwest of England. It's actually in the top 10% of deprived areas in the country. So we are battling quite low baselines with our children when they come to school, poor socioeconomic backgrounds. So we're always very mindful of ensuring that as our children move through the school, they're given lots and lots of opportunities that they may not necessarily come into contact with day to day, and particularly working on that positivity and that good sort of role models for them within their lives. We do have a very high proportion of Pupil Premium, so that's above national average here in the UK. And we also have a high proportion of EAL children, so children with English as an additional language as well. And that's actually one of the strengths of our schools, because this is what gives us such wonderful diversity within our community as well. But we do work incredibly hard in our school. We, as I said, our children come with quite low baseline. but our children do leave us with absolutely brilliant results. So in the end of sort of school tests that we do, they are broadly in line or above national averages. And another strength of our school as well is we are Church of England school, and having that Christian ethos and the Christian values that we live, again, is a real strength, and we tie a lot of work in with those to do with that mental health and positivity and well-being, which I'm just going to talk a little bit more about now. So I've just put onto this slide here, which I'm sure many people are aware of, are obviously those 5 ways to well-being. And this is something that we've really tried to start weaving through into our everyday practice. I'm going to talk specifically in a moment about a student leadership programme that ties into these, but we've really tried to make sure, particularly with COVID now as well, that every single day we are making the children mindful of their mental health and mentioning these whenever we can and pointing them out. So very quickly, the values that we have in our school are truthfulness, friendship, compassion, perseverance, creativity, peace, responsibility, justice. These are all our Christian values that we have across the school. And then we also tie these in with our sort of mental health values again and well-being values. These come from a resource that we use called SCARF, and it links into our personal and social health education curriculum. And each of those letters, as you can see, stand for particular words. And we've just been recently referring to each of these as well last week for Mental Health Week. And every single day we looked at one of these different letters, getting the children to speak about how do they keep themselves safe, how do they care for others, and who cares for them, and so on and so forth through each of them. And it was really interesting to hear what the children were able to talk about in terms of their everyday lives, but particularly in school as well, was really, really reassuring to hear. So moving on now to the student leadership programme, and the one that I want to focus on. There's quite a few that I've run that are quite successful, but the most successful has been our student, our young sports leader one. And just to give you a little bit of a background of this, it started off called a school sports organising crew. And this came from a kite mark that we have in England. It's a kite mark that actually started through Sainsbury's, but then developed into a school games kite mark. And what we're able to do is we can apply to be able to get this particular kite mark, and schools are then able to celebrate all the PE and the sports work that they do within school, and more recently including the well-being and the mental health, so celebrating how you're able to do that. So we started off by having fortnightly meetings with the children. So that was myself, because I started running this probably about 10 years ago. And so we would have fortnightly meetings to begin with. All the children had individual roles assigned to them, so they were all responsible for doing something. Ultimately, every child was responsible for leading a sporting activity at lunchtime. So this was typically the older children in the school. They're usually our year 6 children, so the very top end of the primary school. And they would spread out across the infants and across the juniors at lunchtime, leading sporting activities. So in terms of linking that into sort of the mental health and well-being, if we think back to some of those 5 areas that we were just mentioning before, obviously the impact of this was absolutely twofold. That those children who were leading and who are leading and doing these lunchtime activities, they were giving. So giving the particular time, making others feel better, being active, exercising, and obviously those children who are taking part, they've got that sense of achievement. Because we know with a lot of children, sometimes they may not be able to succeed always academically, but by giving them these opportunities to be creative or to be active, then they excel in these other areas. So having those senses of achievement really, really help to build this positivity. And to also back that up, within our celebration assemblies, we do celebration assemblies every Friday, then our student leaders from this particular programme, they were then able to give out certificates to the children, and again really celebrate that positivity within the school community. We also wanted to make sure as well that these children who were leading it were made very visible within the school, so allowing them to feel very positive and valued within the school community. So we just got them some of the little hoodies. So they always wore these at lunchtime. So when they were leading the different activities, they just put these little hoodies on, and it made them very, very visible to the other children then in the playground, and they knew that they were the leaders that they could go to ask questions, or they were the children they could go to if they wanted, as I say, to do something sporting. This has then recently evolved in to the Young Sports Leader Programme, which is actually something that we've developed from this school sports organising crew, and it has now become really tweaked and I think a lot more streamlined, and this is something that I'm working alongside IMTIAZ with. So our school use the Young Leaders Programme, which is absolutely phenomenal, and the way that it's sort of transformed now our young leaders is that it's made everything far more purposeful. So I want to come on to sort of the key areas of success by moving on to this model. The main element of this has really been the sustainability side of it. One thing that we were really struggling with was being able to sustain having those fortnightly meetings all the time, because if it's one particular member of staff that's having to look after that, then the sustainability sometimes with that can be really, really tricky. So what we've done to be able to sort of combat that is we have, as we've got our student leaders working now, by the summer term, we actually start to have a new set of leaders who start to shadow these particular children. So again, we're sort of spreading spreading that leadership out. We're getting new sets of children who are seeing those wonderful role models of our current student leaders, how again that they are hitting those 5 areas that we've said before of the well-being, making sure that making sure that the children are really active, that achievement is celebrated, the sort of positive verbal prompts to be given to the children. Then in terms of staffing, again, what we've really found is really useful is to make sure that you put it out there for members of staff who are going to be really passionate and have the time to be able to sort of give to this. Because again, as I say, I took this on originally, but with being the deputy head, then that's something I've really struggled with to try and sustain. So this is moved to other members of staff leading with this now, and making sure, as I say, that the children are on task and obviously achieving what they should be. And the time side of things, so time was a real tricky one. Again, lunch times we found wasn't always the best time to be doing some of the training for our student leaders. So we found that moving to after school and running this as a proper club has been far, far more useful. And again, if we're thinking about the mental health side of things and the well-being, it's giving children that time to be more reflective. So it's not feeling like it's a rush like it was before sometimes at lunch when we were doing some of the training with the children. So by having it as an after school club, that's really, really worked for the children to stop and be far more reflective with this and look at what works and what doesn't. Our main impact, and this is the last little part, the main impact really that we've seen, because thinking about what is a measure of mental health and well-being, it's not really something that you can put your finger on. It's something that you see throughout sort of the school day. So some of the 3 main things that we've picked up on has been the attendance of our children throughout even this pandemic. The attendance of our children has been absolutely fantastic. So even when we've been into the full school opening, our attendance has still been up in the 95%. The achievement of our children academically and creative wise has been absolutely outstanding, and the attitude of our children has also been fantastic. And for us, we felt that's what's been the best measure of the mental health and well-being, because all of those 3 key areas have still been really high. And we've had super feedback from our parents saying the children are really happy in school, they're really happy with the things that are happening within lessons, outside of the lessons, things that our student leaders are putting on. All of this has really helped to tie in to know that our children are feeling, as I say, really happy to be in school. So hopefully we've that's kept close to 10 minutes to 7 minutes as possible, as it might be a few minutes over, I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Emma.
Let me
It
just stop
was
sharing my screen.
really, really, really good. Let me just see if I can just get back to here. And next, again, thanks so much for that, Emma. Really, really great presentation. I'm sure people picked up loads. Just one thing, because obviously we've got a very international audience here. A couple of things I just wanted to explain here that people might not necessarily know. What does Pupil Premium really mean?
Sorry, Imtiaz, are you speaking to me?
Yeah, sorry, I beg your pardon,
Oh,
Emma. Yeah,
sorry,
just,
sorry. I was in the middle of answering a question. I do apologise. No, sorry. So Pupil Premium is just funding that we get for our disadvantaged children. So that, with me saying before that obviously we have quite a high, because with us being with the school being set in quite a deprived area, then obviously we do get quite a lot of funding for our Pupil Premium children. So that's all PP stands for. It's just Pupil Premium.
great. Okay, guys, so I'm going to pass over to Musab very shortly. He's going to go through his presentation. If people in the chat would just like to fire in questions to the speakers, I've got a load of questions that we're going to go through that have been emailed in. And in the chat as well, please feel welcome. Introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from. And also, you know, if you want to fire in any questions, now is a great time to do it. And I will do my best to try and get through them, through as many as we possibly can. So Musab, can I just pass across to you? And again, just a brief introduction. Musab, like I mentioned earlier, you know, works across in a school in Dubai. And like I say, I'm not going to steal his thunder, and hopefully I'll pass across to you now, Musab.
Thank you, Imtiaz. I'm really glad to be in this webinar. Thank you, Emma, for this introduction about your school and your enthusiastic programs that you are offering for students. As Imtiaz said, that I will be doing my best to be on task. Well-being is a huge topic, but actually I will be sharing really a successful experience that we created in Al Ittihad Private School in Dubai for our students in the past 10 years. And we getting really an impact on students' achievement, academically and social and personal development. First of all, my name is Musab Hassoun. I am the boys principal in Al Ittihad School. I've been working with Al Ittihad School for the past 20 years. So the impact that I'm living every day with school, with the school students, really incredible. And let me share with you a brief about Al Ittihad Private School. Al Ittihad Private School, Al Mamzar, is an American curriculum school underpinned by Emirati culture, character, and philosophy. We work towards preserving the local culture and heritage and instilling core Islamic values in our learners.
Musab, sorry to interrupt you. We can't see your presentation there.
I'm sorry. Just I tried to share it.
Let me just see if I can.
Now you can see it?
Yes, we can see it now. Thank you.
All right, great. Shall I continue? Now you can see the presentation.
Please do continue. Thank you, Musab.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. All right. So again, we work towards preserving the local culture and heritage and instilling core Islamic value in our learners, whilst keeping our religious values intact. We prepare our students to meet the needs and challenges of the modern world with high competency, confidence, and competitive skills. Al Ittihad School is fully inclusive learning community And we firmly believe that every member of our community has a distinctive voice, purpose, and gift. Within the 40 years plus of experience, innovation, and passion in education, we are proud of our legacy and heritage. We foster opportunities for our children to participate in an education that prepares them for life and immerses them in their God-given Emirati culture. The inception of Al-Ittihad School, Al-Mamzar, which was over 40 years ago, was a visionary and courageous step taken by our founders. Our founders were in tune with the spirit of this great nation as they dared to dream big. We strive to live up the vision of our founders through a commitment to positive religious, social, emotional, and academic outcomes. Our mission at Al-Ittihad Private School to promote a learning culture where students are committed to academic achievement, social and personal development, and global citizenship, which empowers them to meet future challenges and positively impact their community. And our vision, through an inclusive and nurturing culture, aspires to foster a learning community where learners will achieve their optimal learning goals, master critical thinking, problem solving, and decision-making skills, possesses a cross-culture mindset while preserving their national identity, be college and career ready, be future contributors in sustaining the social and economic well-being of their community. So to stay in the topic and continue in providing you with programs that help us in improving students' leadership skills, certainly there are people who can be considered natural readers because of their inherent characteristics. However, research in several fields, including emotional intelligence, social emotional learning, and positive psychology, shows that anyone, even young children, can learn and develop leadership qualities. So it is critical to provide these opportunities in the home and at school, because development of leadership qualities is vital for children's success in school life and the future careers. So to speak about essential programs to cultivating students' leadership skills, we created in Al-Ittihad Private Schools some programs which is appear in front of you, starting from the community partnership, entrepreneur and enterprise opportunities, sports involvement, positive education in association with University of Melbourne, students ambassador program, and Rahal program, and we call it a soccer program. A soccer, it's an Arabic word, the name of the falcon. So let's start with positive education, enhanced curriculum, PEAK. So it is approach for well-being. PEAK is not a replacement for the implicit positive education that takes place every day through pastoral care, coaching, teaching, and every interaction that teachers have with their students. Rather, it is an explicit curriculum designed for schools to lead and introduce the students to be taught the key concepts of well-being so they can live healthy and fulfilling lives. The curriculum is built on more than 10 years of experience with positive education at Geelong Grammar School, and is designed in consultation with world researchers in the field of positive psychology. Nothing can get better outcomes than making a young person feeling the life is meaningful and have a love of learning. So we start implementing and develop this program within the context of Emirati culture and heritage by creating interdisciplinary connections between positive education, Arabic and Islamic values, link the beak with Islamic pillars, values, and inspirational hadith stories. So what are the PERMA model that we are introducing in our students, introducing to our students? The PERMA is positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishments. So it was, we call it as, I know many of you, you are familiar with Seligman's PERMA model. And these are the skills that we, as a school, integrated in our curriculum to develop these skills in our school students. And we link these skills with every and each program in the school and in the curriculum itself. Also, in addition to that, we implemented social and emotional learning with enhancing communication skills. This includes cooperation, problem solving, and listening skills. In addition to students learn how to deal with conflict situations. How can I adjust my situation so that my interaction with different people turn out well? So the students exposed to such questions to interact with people around them. Social awareness skills, students learn how to consider other people's opinions and show empathy. Emotional management skills, the students learn how to manage stress and motivate themselves to work towards particular goals. In addition to that, self-awareness skills, through the process of collaborating, students learn how to identify and express their own feeling. Decision-making skills, when students work in a group, they have to make reasonable choices that everyone agrees with and also what consequences will my action as a student have on myself and others. So from these, let's say, the pillars of positive education and also the social and emotional learning, we recognize that the leadership aspects in all of these skills. So a leader has to communicate, consider other people's opinions, manage their own emotional response, and make smart decisions. So starting from the programs that we're offering in our school, let's speak about really the most important programs that impacted on our students' learning journey. First of all, community partnership. We created 4 programs. First of all, the work placement program. The work placement is the purpose of this program is to expose the students to a professional environment, gain work experience, and learn about how to conduct themselves in a professional environment. It is a graded project with a full rubric, self-evaluation. Supervisors can evaluate the students, and the most important part of this program is the pre-internship research task about the companies. So we as a school, provide the students with opportunity to be in government and private entities. And the students, they've done this experience with other entities outside to enrich their leadership skills. So after completing the work placement program, students are requested to prepare a presentation with their gain experience. As a school, we invited the other entities to attend these seminars or presentation from the students and share with them their experience and how this experience impacted on the students' future career goals. The second one is about the community service program. The community service program for all high school students. This program is an amendment to the graduation requirements, and the students are expected to complete 100 hours of community service over the course of 4 high school years. So it is the choice of students whether to distribute the hours evenly over 4 years or in a shorter amount of time. Students will receive a certificate of completion after submitting all the components of the program, and the career counselor department play a major role to open a proper channel for internship programs and activities in school or in other entities or other government or private sector. Career Day, it's another program where the students exposed to do a research about the future career that they would like to represent in the future. And it is graded for high school students, where eventually they can display a presentation and do on a based clear rubric to include a quality of research about this topic. What are the best universities in the world are providing these majors, presentation skills, innovation skills, display attractive and neatness and creativity, quality of the career that they would like to present. And also we have in the program peer review, and personal review as well. So also we created a channel for the students with other universities like Georgia State University, AUD in Dubai, AUS in Sharjah, American University of Sharjah, United Arab Emirates University, Stanford program, Stanford University, a program for summer schools. And also there are like 2 programs with the UAE University for developing and enriching gifted and talented students. Also, the main important, let's say, program in our school is innovation. Innovation is taking part in all UAE schools, and grade 6 to 12 students are working in groups to showcase their innovative projects, hidden creativity skills and leadership skills as well. The primary object of this project is to approach problem or a question scientifically. This includes 2 approaches students can choose from. The first one is inquiry-based approach, scientific method, and the other one is project-based approach, STEAM, with a design process. So all students from grade 6 to 12, they are exposed to such an experience to prepare their projects and showcase and present their projects with a prototype which they have to speak about it. So the last experience that I would like to share today, hopefully that I exceeded the 7 minutes, but hopefully it is the last one, and it is really a great experience for our students with the partnership with Injaz UAE. Injaz UAE is a member of Junior Achievement Worldwide, one of the world's largest non-profit business education organization. The main goal from this program is to increase the business skills of the students and their participation in the economy. So the students exposed also to another training from outsource experienced volunteer from the market, from the business sector, to enrich the students' quality of entrepreneur and enterprise skills. After enriching our students with these skills, we engage the students in creating their own business to take part in the IBS Entrepreneurs Day. This day, it's a day, but actually the students working from the beginning of the year until this day, which usually we have it end of February or starting of March, and these 6 to 7 months, the students really are working hard to provide a creative idea to participate in this day. So these are the things that we are doing in the school to involve every student in gaining and prepare them for the future with such leadership skills. Thank you, Imtiaz.
Thank you so much, Musab. Really appreciate that. Again, a wonderful presentation. I'm just going to start mine now. We are just, I'm just conscious of the time, but I really appreciate that. Some incredible value there. Again, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. I hope what everyone is picking up here is the kind of the diversity of the programs that are on offer, especially when it comes to student leadership, and how that then impacts your school and your school culture. Now, obviously, we've got two completely different schools here, but I think what you can kind of quite clearly see is the passion that both Musab and Emma have to drive these programs. So whatever that driving or whatever that program is how, you know, their passion and their commitment and their energy levels actually make those programs work. I mean, incredible thing that Musab mentioned to me in our conversation, which he was, you know, so humble not to mention there now, is that their objective in their school is to get every single child into a leadership program, which is incredible. They've got 1,800 students in that school. So it's just amazing, you know, and, you know, although, you know, it's a massive mammoth task, you know, they're trying to achieve that every single year. So again, you know, you have to have some kind of, you know, amazing energy. There's a brilliant question that I'm going to come across that was emailed in about numbers and about how many students you should have in leadership programs. So I think that'd be an interesting one for Musab to maybe to touch on a little bit later. So without further ado, I'm going to see if I can pin myself. I'll spotlight myself for everybody, and then I will just try to see if you can see my presentation now. Is that okay? Can everybody see that? Just give me a nod of the head if you can see it. Right, great. Thanks very much. Sorry about that, guys. Right, okay. So how Young Leaders Academy, how are we helping schools improve health and well-being through training? So essentially what Young Leaders Academy is we are a training organisation. We help students and staff improve the student leadership programs, and we do that in a number of ways. We train the actual students that are on your student leadership programs, and we also help to upskill staff as well. And I'll just give you a couple of sort of ideas of how we do that and how that kind of impacts the overall health and well-being of the school as well. Schools that, from my experience, have incredible challenges. Obviously, we've got the COVID-19 on a national and international scale. You know, how that has impacted our children, you know, really fully yet to see. the anxiety levels that we're hearing now of children as we prep here in the UK, certainly for children to go back to school. Hopefully at some point over the next few weeks, or certainly we're hoping at least before Easter or after Easter perhaps, which is around April time. So, you know, the children have been at home now, as in many countries across the world, for nearly close to probably over a year now. So, you know, how that has impacted those children now going back to school. I know they've had a quick burst back at school in October, but, you know, really how that has impacted their mental awareness and mental health, we're yet to see. Another thing that we see is motivation, participation, and stakeholder buy-in. And really what that means is kind of the student leaders motivating them into the programs initially. So you might have created some incredible programs, but then getting participation, and then the ones that participated motivated them, and retaining them seems to be a massive issue. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a case study shortly, so that'll give you some ideas. And also stakeholder buy-in. So, you know, the way that I see it is probably you got 4 key stakeholders. Obviously, you got your students, you got your staff, you've got your community, you know, and you've got all of those have an incredible part to play in, you know, making your programs incredibly successful, and, you know, how to get everybody involved in the best possible way to make sure that the programs are really, really key and really successful, you know, both for the people that are taking part and for the wider school community as well. So this is a school that is local to me here in the UK. The main challenge is that they had programs in place, but no real structure. They wanted to improve these children's, this is a primary school, by the way. So over here, primary school, we're talking ages. Usually we have, like in Emma's school, probably ages from roughly about, I would say 9 years old to about 11 years old that tend to take part in these leadership programs. This particular one that they wanted us to work on was their play leader program. So again, trying to get a better structure in place. They wanted to improve the confidence of the children, and they wanted to make their transitional skills from their primary school into high school a better transition, because this is one of the feedbacks that came back from high schools, that the children need to be better prepared when they're coming into high school. And also sustainability was a big part of these programs. They're running these programs, but, you know, if you've got a project view on a program, the program ends, but where's the sustainability? Where's the follow on? You know, we've lost all of that wonderful kind of, you know, energy and productivity in that particular period. But after the program is finished, then that's it, it's gone. How do we continue that? How do we make that, you know, more sustainable? And also to involve the community, better exposure within their community, and to get community buy-in as well from parents. So that's probably one of the stakeholders that I missed, actually. Parents, staff, you know, your students, obviously, and also the wider community. How can we do that? So what we did for this particular school was to really kind of put in a structure. So the children had a specific training. They worked through roughly about 10 modules in our play leader training program, which kind of upskilled them from understanding safety in the playground right through to teamwork skills, right through to you know, talking about and discussing analysis of what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how they can make things better. And the way that this impacted school health and well-being was particularly because they had now this structure and this training. They understood better what they were doing and their roles in this particular leadership program. They were able to then sorry, let me just add a few people. There's a few people waiting in the waiting room, beg your pardon. So the impact that this had then on the total kind of overall school health and well-being was that you had now a group of children, 10 or 15 children, that were now putting in place some incredible programs and sports driven, really, play leader programs in their playground that were having a direct impact on behavior in the school. they were having a direct impact on health and well-being in terms of activity in the playground. So one of the judgments that this particular head looked at was he'd take a scan of the playground at playtime and lunchtime, how many children are moving, how many children are active, how many children are stood around just talking, how many children are on their own, not interacting with others. So at a scan, he would say roughly there was a 65%, 35% split. So after then we put this sort of training in place, he said that that increased to 85%, 15% split, which is a massive, massive jump. You know, when we're talking about this program, maybe it was an 18-week program. So, you know, it's that is how something where you're giving the children the kind of skills to organize these events and take ownership of these events. You're getting incredible buy-in, not from just, you know, the students themselves, the student leaders, but the whole school as well. They all want to take part. So naturally, when you train people up and you give them these amazing skills, like how to speak confidently when they're delivering these programs, how to do these incredible presentation skills in front of the whole school, how to deliver their message in a confident way, in a way that other people can understand, then obviously you're giving them those kind of skills that do improve their confidence. And when they're going into these transitional environments, like from primary to high school, they've got a lot more confidence and they can hold themselves better, they can communicate a lot better. And that is a massive, massive impact I think we're going to have going forward anyway, with health and well-being in particular. So sustainability, again, you know, sustainability with this particular school is obviously our programs now online and offline. So we can now put in place online training for those student leaders, and it just makes that program a lot more sustainable. You know, they've got something that the school falls back on, and those students can refer back to as they're through the program and as the new kind of, you know, set of student leaders come through. Community exposure was really about now kind of getting buy-in from the wider community. So what we did with this particular group and crop of student leaders was to give them the skills to create connections with their wider community. So they learned all of these amazing skills. How does that impact the wider community? And again, something that both Emma and Musab hinted on was giving back to the community. So this enabled those particular student leaders to see that those skills were now valuable to, for example, a local nursery, so a local kindergarten. So they went in and developed a little, you know, sort of session for the local kindergarten, which was amazing. They also then developed a program and a session for a local old people's home, so a residential home. So again, these students now had these incredible skills that they were using in the wider community, and it was their responsibility also to connect those links in the wider community. Right, I think I have gone on far too long, so I'm going to end my presentation there. Obviously, if people got more questions, they can ask in the chat, and I'll be offering something at the end anyway. So let me just stop my share and come back in. I'm going to pin Emma and Musab as well, and then hopefully what we can see, if I can ask you to unmute yourselves, please. And we'll have us three here. And now we're going to go through these questions as well. Again, people, I think the chat is pretty active here, so I'm going to try and see if we can get to that at some point as well. Let's go through these questions. So I've got the questions in front of me. I'm going to fire them across. Again, we're already at 12:52, which is amazing. I can't believe we're here already, but you know, we might have to go over a little bit. I hope that's okay with everybody. So one of the questions was, students may not complete their tasks if they act as leaders. This is maybe an issue that we can help with. So, I mean, for me, I think that the questioner here is asking that, you know, if they're doing the student leading programs, how are they still completing the schoolwork? So Emma, how are you dealing with, do you come across those issues?
I think probably just to make it clear to people on the webinar as well that obviously I work in a primary school, so I'm working with pupils aged from 2 years old through to 11 years old. So I think some of these might be targeted a little bit more at secondary pupils as well, but I will very much try my best to answer some of these. So in the case of students struggling to complete tasks and complete the work alongside that, not really, because as I've mentioned before, we run our student leadership program, so the children lead on the sports or things like that during break times or lunch times for the other children. But as I said before, we found that sometimes trying to do the training for our student leaders over lunch times, that just wasn't working. So that's where we went to building in the after school club time. So that for me personally, being able to complete the task, I think it's looking for other times in the day where that can be fit in. But for us as a primary school, doing it as an after school club is what's really worked brilliantly, because we've had that time to be very reflective on what does work and what doesn't work, and the children being given that time to do that.
Wonderful. And Musab, same question to you, please.
Really, as you mentioned, that we are involving every student in the community to be part of this, these gaining leadership skills. Basically, it is really, the time is challenging for the students to be involved. That's why we created some programs to develop and enrich the students with leadership skills through our curriculum and through our instructional timing. Also, at the same time, we invest with those students with extra miles, with talented, to be involved in the community, to lead such a programs, such as organizing like sports tournaments, or in this pandemic time with the lockdown, the students, they created like a tournament on e-sport competitions between other students. So they lead and somehow, even if there are like some barriers or some challenges. I feel that the students who are really from their inside, that there are leaders, they're looking for opportunities. They are creating opportunities for themselves to show their talent. These things really with embedded of the skills and the curriculum help the students to upgrade their leadership skills, and also guide them to show their talent and leadership skills in the community.
Okay, just one question from me. If you just, let's just think of this at a strategic level now. If you had one opportunity to do one key program that was going to be aimed and targeted just at school and health and well-being, so we have a secondary school, we have a primary school, tell me, like in a kind of a snap, what program would you choose and why? Emma?
Well, I think definitely the sports element of things. The two go hand in hand. So the one that I've already talked about, I feel, is the one that goes hand in hand the best with the mental health and well-being. But to choose another, the other one I was going to speak about was something that we also run in school called Team Spirit. So if people want to know anything about that, obviously I can send you details and you can pass that on to people as well, Imtiaz.
Certainly will, yeah, thank you. Musab?
Really, sports is the most important thing for the students, especially I'm handling a boys' school. But actually, from my experience, entrepreneur opportunity for the students is really a demand nowadays in the community and in the world. So we created a program to let the students participate in this entrepreneur opportunity, where the students, they can open their businesses and they can invest in ideas to lead their business, to have like a partnership or any other community sponsor from the companies outside. So the students, they have to create a channel to speak to these people outside, to invite them to create this business inside the school. As I said in my presentation, it is a one-day business school, but it is like needs more than 6 months to prepare and be ready for such an opportunity to present your business idea. Some of the students, they created small business ideas, and they gain more than 20,000 dirhams in one day. So it's really such a wonderful program for the students to share their leadership skills and be involved in the community and engaged with the school community around.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Really good one on the chat here. Can we mention a plan or some kind of strategy on how to keep pupils more engaged and eager to be involved around sports virtually? I'm dealing with the secondary school pupils, and it's pretty tough to keep their interest. Oh, I think Musab's got a really, we had a cracking conversation about this actually, didn't we, Musab? So just mention what you're doing virtually and keeping the, your students engaged and challenged and involved as well.
Actually, it's really a challenging time for every school. At the beginning, the students, they were like enthusiastic, and they were like having the opportunity to participate. After that, they were like really tired, stressful. So we created a program of wellness, well-being, and also sports activities at the same time. It was at the beginning, it is free, and it is available for everyone after school. But actually after that, we saw that the attendance of the students are less. So we created another opportunity for them to create a competition between the students, where the attendance more increased, and the students, they start to compete each other. Even we devoted some sessions during our timetable to let the students compete in esports games and other challenges of workouts. So we created like a push-up competition, sit-up competition. And at the beginning, it was like a few number of students. And after that, they were like flourish, and many students, they take part in these competitions. Fantastic.
Thank you, Musa. Emma?
Yeah, I'm just nodding away there, because that's very similar to what we've looked at as well here at St Barnabas. Because again, as has been mentioned, we do find the remote side of things really tricky. So we've looked at interesting ways in which we can sort of keep the physical activity going. And one of those have been to do sort of the virtual PE lessons. But through our local authority, we also get virtual competitions then that our schools can enter. So our children get to do these personal challenges. So something very similar to what Musab has just said, things like speed bouncing. So how many bounces can you do in a minute? How many keepy uppies on the football can you do in a minute? Doing bunny hops, over a bench, how many of those can you do in a minute? Just really simple things like that. The children then obviously put their times down. You enter some of the top ones, and then again, that's done virtually across different schools within Warrington. So the children not only competing against each other within their own class, but also competing against other schools within the local authority and within the town as well. So that's worked really nicely and helped to keep motivation levels up.
Fantastic. Someone's just put in the chat here, Anita said she created a challenge called Kingsley 500, where one exercise has to be completed at least 500 times over the week. Students were named and celebrated for completing, getting positive points, making high levels of engagement. Yeah, fantastic. Great. Okay. We'll just try and answer a couple more. We are at 1 o'clock here now, and I really, we have to end by like 10 past, quarter past at the absolute latest. So apologies that we're going over time here, but I think people are getting a lot of value from this. So that's the key thing here, really. I think the next one that we'll do, obviously, we'll give a little bit more time to it. Okay, how to work effectively to transfer their ideas into action plans, and also how to time manage and work on solutions rather than problems. Okay, so Musab, do you want to answer that one?
Actually, we have to consider the teachers at this time, and to be honest, the teachers, they are under stress. during to the pandemic and during to that teaching online and to the remote learning. So first of all, addressing the well-being of the teacher is a vital step for school administration to really reflect that on the students' well-being. So to answer this question, involving the teacher in the revising the curriculum and taking part of having a concentration on the power standards of the curriculum, embedded these activities and skills into the curriculum, it will be spreading the skills, and it will be like spreading the word for the students. Also, the time management, where we have to be resilient, we have to be flexible, we have to concentrate on the two parts of the education while we are covering the curriculum, and at the same time taking part of the heading curriculum, where we can build the personality of our students.
Thank you. Emma, would you like to touch on that?
In all fairness, I think it's, as I say, what I mentioned before, because as Musab has said, trying to cram things in don't work, and they actually even add more stress. So, you know, that's not helping with the mental health or well-being at all. So it's about finding those times within the day when you're able to fit that in. As I say, we found the best way to be able to train our students successfully so that it had that sustainability and it had the impact, was to be able to do these sorts of things after school, because as I say, trying to run them through lunch times or taking children out of classes from curriculum time again just wasn't working. So by having that dedicated time has what's been the most useful. And we also run another program at our school called Children's University, which again is something that is linked to children voluntarily giving their time to be able to be part of clubs and so on. So by our children doing that after school and being involved in these leadership programs after school, then that's also allowing them to gain credit in another student leadership program as well. And all of that all the time is adding to those elements of, as I say, the mental health and well-being, because it's that sense, that real sense of achievement, and the children building, you know, the resilience and those sorts of things. So definitely trying to find time, I think, out of the curricular program is what's helped us within our primary school anyway. Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Okay, guys, I think, you know, that we've got tons of questions here. I'm so sorry. We've only been able to go through two or three really, but if it's okay with the people that have emailed in, I will try to email answers to you if it's all possible. And we may be able to cover these in articles on the website and stuff like that anyway. And perhaps there could be topics really that we might be able to discuss in future webinars as well. Just to kind of, before we round off, I just wanted to share something with you guys in terms of kind of really, if I can just get this moved up here. Can everybody see my screen there?
Yeah.
Just really was, I wanted to give this kind of offer to everybody that's part of the webinar today, which is, as Young Leaders Academy, what we'd love to be able to do is keep this conversation going. And one of the ways that I thought of was to offer you, your school, a student leadership review and audit. So this would be where you can have a conversation with either myself or one of my colleagues and just look at the kind of programs that you're running and how we can make those programs and help you make those programs even better for your school and for your community. Maybe if it's something to do with time management, you know, there's lots of things about time management, getting involvement, participation. We can discuss those, even review the programs that you've already got, and perhaps offer you some, you know, guidance and help on how to make those even better. So the way to do that is just simply email back in to me, just let me know. And I'll be emailing everybody that's on the talk anyway, on the webinar rather. And you can, you know, there'll be a link in there for you to easily get back to me and be able to book in some time. It can just be a simple 45-minute conversation, really, half an hour conversation on what you've got and how we can help you make that better. So just wanted to put that out there to everybody. And I'll just stop sharing there now. So I'm glad that people have got some great ideas from this. Just a couple of things in the chat there. People are asking for a recording. If people want the slides as well, we're more than happy. Both Musab and Emma have really offered that, which is absolutely brilliant. We will definitely share the recording. Everybody that's on the webinar, I will put that together and send that out to you, or send a link to it at least, where you can access that. Again, I want to thank Musab and Emma for your time. I know you're very, very busy people, and you know, to take time out your day to do this, incredible. Really, really appreciate that. I want to thank everybody that's taken part in the webinar as well. Really appreciate your effort and time. I hope you've gone away with at least one, with these things, if you go away with even one incredible idea that can have an impact on your school, it is going to be worth it. Absolutely worth it. You know, just one little nugget can make such a difference. You know, there's a brilliant thing that, you know, I read in Simon Sinek's book about the reason why. If you have a motivator, your key motivator, which is your reason why you want to do something, that can have such a massive impact on the whole organization and your whole school, and you know, the culture of the school. So I hope people have picked up at least one cracking idea that they can take forward. You know, Musab and Emma have both shared some incredible projects that they're doing in their schools, and I hope, you know, that gives you guys some ideas on the kind of projects you can do in your schools too, or maybe just improve or enhance, you know, what you're already doing there. Again, please do get in touch with us if you need any more information from us. We're going to continue these webinars. Next time, we've got I think Beatrice and John, who are from schools in China. So we're going Far East now. So we've gone West, Middle East. Now we're traveling Far East in next month's webinar. So I'm hoping that we'll definitely be able to invite you all again to that. And again, it's just interesting to see, you know, how different cultures and different countries, different regions, how they deal with student leadership. And I'm sure we can all learn, you know, even more, which is really what we're all about. Again, thank you so much, and wish you all the best for your days and the coming weeks. And hopefully, you know, coming out of the pandemic, we come out stronger and even more connected, which I think we will. You know, we've, like Emma mentioned, we've been able to create these amazing connections between different countries, different schools, different regions, you know, and part of the Young Leaders Academy is to kind of create those connections for the students as well. So part of our program is to make, you know, kind of whilst children are in these sort of student leadership roles, that they connect with students from different schools from all over the world, and it's so exciting for them. And that is one way that you can actually increase your participation, is to give children that little hint that they might be talking to children, for example, the UK children, that they might be talking to children in Dubai or Qatar or China, which makes it so exciting for them, so exciting for them. And likewise for children in, you know, Dubai and China, that they'll be talking to children in the UK or the US. It's just so exciting for them. Well, again, without further ado, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time, and we hope to see you in the next one.
Thank you for having me.
Imtiaz, can I just mention something really briefly? I just wanted to say that there have been two questions in the chat before. Someone had asked about the sports in general taking the lead, and then someone had asked about other ideas for student leadership programs. What I'm going to do, Imtiaz, is I'm going to send to you answers to these questions and answers to the other questions that were sent through to Musab and myself. And then obviously, if you don't mind emailing those out to obviously everybody who's been in the webinar, and that hopefully then we have answered everyone's questions the best that we can.
Thank you very much. That is so kind of you, Emma. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's a really, really nice gesture. Those people that have asked those questions.
Thank you for having me. Just a last comment that I would like to share with everyone. I'm really grateful and thankful for every teacher in IPS Mamzar, and also for our career counselor department, and also our social workers department. At the same time, I'm extending my deep gratitude for the executive team, where we are working all together to create and open the opportunities for those students. Just the last word for me, for everyone attending this seminar, offer a diverse menu of opportunities to unlock the students' potential.
Thank you, Musab. Lovely, lovely. Again, thank you, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.